No, 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 no. Get out.
Oh God, I'm trying
Get
to be
out.
live. I promise, I'm trying to be live. Where is the live control room? Is this the live control room? Oh, I guess it's. Hello. How do you pronounce your name? I cannot pronounce all of that. Please help me. I'd like to buy a vowel. I don't know if you can like spell it out phonetically or something. Or maybe I just need to be a better person. I just need to be better at this. Okay, so now I'm starting the live stream on all the different Facebooks. Welcome to Office Hours. For those of you who are joining me on Facebook and Discord, please start asking your questions because I am not trying to answer all these inbox DM questions every other day where it'd be just easier to give you a live example of what my voice can do right now, or not what my voice can do, but what my voice can do for you right now. Oh crap! I shouldn't be displaying my damn stream key. Oh my god, I'm out here being a mess. Oh Jesus, 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 please, no, goddamn! I swear to God. There we go. Okay, gonna enlarge this for now. Start asking your dang questions. Don't say I didn't tell you when you come to me in my inbox with some questions and I say no. It's teacher Q and A, and that is today 7/21, 18 live. Come on, it's the most. Do not allow. Thank you. Voice teacher Q and A. Can you realize I'm streaming, please? Thank you. Have mercy on me, Zuckerberg. I am but a noob. Okay, almost just one more live stream start up, and then I will start looking at the questions that nobody is asking because they want to pretend like they don't have questions and then hit up my inbox with 50 damn DMs when I'm busy. Office hours. And woo! Okay, that's everything. Now let's see. Yay, look at you not missing office hours, but also not asking questions. Yes, I'm very proud. I'm very unproud of my admins that are not re-announcing the thing, like I said. Everybody want a free ride around here, don't want to do no work. People want feedback, but don't want to earn their feed and their keep. Thank you, Utho. So I do this shit myself. Okay, what do I think of Jeremy Jordan's technique? I'm not super familiar with Jeremy Jordan outside of a couple students I've had that are super obsessed with his belting. I think he demonstrates more of what like a tenor behavior in his belting that he really peaks around this like C5 range. Is really good with that. If he's oh my god, we have to clean this up if we live stream to PPT. Um, but yeah, I think he's good, solid belts. I know we were talking before about. I would actually think of Alex Newell in terms of belting. If we're going to use the term pop soprano, which I think soprano inherently applies to operatic style, so it's not necessarily a useful descriptor in the pop realm. And it could be a limiting descriptor even in the opera realm. But Jeremy Jordan is someone who I'd say like he's high voice, but he is more like a tenor. I'd say someone like Alex Newell behaves more like a mezzo or soprano in terms of just their belting ability, where his belts peak. is in the like soprano, mezzo soprano range. Can I describe it? I don't know. It's like rich and ringy if I recall, but I can't recall like a whole lot, and I don't know what the copyright stuff is like for me to listen to a clip of it now. Premium office hours, I won't be circulating around as much. So if you want feedback on your voice or specific clips of voice or stuff on a song or actually get drill, keep an eye out for my Patreon stuff. Link in the description of this video. And if you join Patreon for like upcoming modules, you'll actually receive the drills, opposed to the commoners who will just get like a good starting place for how to work on these things. So if you want more in-depth stuff, and if you want analysis during office hours, and you want me to listen to stuff during office hours, I need to make those office hours smaller or private or whatever, so I don't get like copyright strike to the worms. MJ. Oh my God. Yeah, I think a lot of people fuck themselves. I think fucker can be kind of outdated for pop, and I don't necessarily trust what everybody says that they are, like as a fucker. Like even like Mariah Carey, I wouldn't trust her to talk about the voice science of what she does. I think she's incredible, but I haven't seen her like use any voice science or say things that are like what the top researchers in voice are saying. Well, she doesn't have to. She's amazing. She's learned a lot of this stuff implicitly. She doesn't necessarily have to explain that. But I don't take like I'm good at singing and I'm describing myself as inherently you are right about yourself. Um, oh God, get that overdrive belting. I'm about to overdrive you off a cliff. Let me get this stack exchange because apparently what is it? Stop downvoting stuff, y'all. It's so rude. Don't do that. Like, don't downvote a new question, like a newbie question. Like that's so rude. Don't do that, people. Please. I'm looking at you. You throw. You better not. You better not. I better not be able to check this data and find out that you downloaded it because that is an honestly a good question from a newbie. By the way, this is Stack Exchange. For those of you who are not familiar, let me see if y'all can even see. Let me change. God, I hate this thing. I hate Linux. Like I like what the potential of Linux represents, but I hate that there's nothing user friendly ever in Linux. Like nothing is. Well, what the fuck? Exactly. I can't like shrink this layer. Okay, now you want to act right. Thank you. Ooh, only need 9 more followers. Okay, let me minimize that. So somebody downvoted this question on Sack Exchange for yodeling. So I'm gonna answer it first. I wish I could upvote it, but I can't. Even if I were logged in, I wouldn't be able to upvote anymore because it's like limited how much you can upvote. So I need y'all's upvotes to tell us what questions are most important. There's a whole lot of good questions since last time. I think Dab Master, has added probably the most questions. No, all Dab Master's questions are new, so I'm gonna get to those real quick. And first, I'm gonna answer the yodeling one because I don't know why somebody downloaded that. Basically, what yodeling is breaks between M1 and M2. So your chest voice, your head voice. So just playing with that passaggio noise as you switch between the two, and then using like euphonic syllables, like syllables that sound good to the ear that are designed to highlight these breaks. In fact, I think yodel is one of the syllables that hence it being called yodeling. So yole, like the switch between So that's what yodeling is essentially. Don't downvote this shit, I swear to God. Okay, so does twang help you sing higher? Yes, technically it can help you sing higher, but using it for that purpose is a crutch. I think the main reason to use it is to add that specific texture to your tone. Because I don't think there's anything that twang does besides add this sound to your voice. This is twang, by the way, for those of you that are uninitiated. It involves the squeezing of the area epiglottis folds with something that's like nicknamed the area epiglottis sphincter because it feels a lot like a sphincter when you close it. So this kind of sound, so that can be used like in lighter doses to not sound as horrible. So like, so far away, doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? So that they can add some like bite to your voice. So that is a basic twang in a nutshell. But you shouldn't use it to sing higher or to have more compression, like a compressed type sound that can give you like some brightness and ringiness to your voice. There's so many other ways, not so many, but enough other ways to do that that you don't need to use twang for anything other than having twang. But yes, it could technically help you sing higher, but should it? No, don't do that. What muscles control open quotient and closed quotient? Go watch my curation. I still need to fix the audio, but once that happens, watch my curation, which is basically when I dissect medical research papers to explain how these help you become a better singer, how these help you understand your voice better. So I did a curation on open quotient and closed quotient. And for those of you that don't know about open quotient and closed quotient, that's basically like the density of your voice. So higher open quotient is going to give you a lighter voice. And no, this is not breathiness, because I can be breathy without having a light voice. So open quotient gives you a lighter voice, and I would not call this breathy. This doesn't sound breathy to me at all. And then closed quotient give you a more dense voice, and I would say that it sounds like this, and no, not significantly less breathy than the sound that I did before. So open quotient. Am I hearing stuff through my phone? I should not be hearing nobody. Okay, good. Um, so, yeah, open quotient and closed quotient are basically how much time your vocal folds spend together. I do an entire curation on this, but I think I'm gonna hold off on curations for the general public because like people are just not asking questions and acting like they understand, and I get to the end of the thing, it's like, what's an open quotient? Is it like an open throat? Are you keeping your throat open for Jesus? Is that an open question? So like I'm not about to like talk for an hour 30 minutes and have people just never ask any questions that everyone acts so bad like they understand everything. Like no, like that doesn't only make you look stupid, it makes me look stupid for talking to you for like an hour about something you don't understand. If you want to understand something, ask a question. P.S. fucking A. Okay, so open quotient and closed quotient. What controls those muscles? What muscles control that? I go over those muscles inside the thing as well. And there's even a study with an excised Frankenstein larynx that people jack up with some damn electrodes and they look at which muscles directly control that by increasing the voltage on certain. And it's so exciting. This stuff is so interesting and exciting. And I get that everybody might not understand that, but you have only yourself to blame for not understanding if you don't want to ask these questions. So ask questions, especially right now when I'm free to do so. I can't demystify stuff if y'all want to be these like mystics that I don't need knowledge. I'm post understanding. I'm post like man up, ask a question. Woman up, ask a question. Like I didn't always know all this stuff, and I learned this stuff by asking questions, like y'all should be doing right now. So PSA, ask questions. Stop trying to be the baddest bitch. Okay. Can you feel pain on your vocal cords? Yes, you can. There are nerve endings, probably in the epithelial tissue, potentially in the epithelial tissue is like the non-muscle tissue on top of the vocal cords, and possibly inside the body as well. But yeah, that's a lot of where like the cough reflex can come from, is like irritation of that epithelial tissue will make you want to cough and interrupt the phonation that you're currently doing because it might be something that's injurious. So coughing is your body's reflex to this pain on your vocal cords. Be like, hey, yo, stop doing that. What do exercises involving pulling your tongue out of your mouth whilst phonating do? What do those exercises do? Those exercises pay the bill for this vocal cord Illuminati stuff that's basically like your tongue is your vocal cords, so you have to move your tongue a certain way in order to move your larynx a certain way. Is there a certain conflation of doing certain things with your tongue leading to potential tension. Yes, there are like certain things like connotal uses the back of the tongue. It also uses the epiglottis, though, which I would argue is just as, if not more important, and is not part of your tongue to how tension is introduced to the larynx without actual muscles tensing on the larynx. Let me see if people have had any questions about any of these questions that I've answered. Oh my god, I'm gonna be demonetized if I mention these NBs. You see how this YouTube work? Uh, I don't know why it's behind. I'm sorry. Um, belting above your office hours tenor. Uh, lots of twang. Kevin Hart's voice I'm not familiar enough with to know if it's super twangy. How to alleviate lightheadedness when singing with a high open quotient and or high breathiness for extended periods of time. Open quotient shouldn't as much result in the lightheadedness. I think you have to acclimate to the breathing that you need for breathiness. There's just no way to hold a breathy note for as long as a non-breathy note. Open quotient is also leakier than having a higher closed quotient, but it's not like night and day. Just singing with a higher open quotient in and of itself shouldn't be making you lightheaded. So maybe reevaluate if like your open quotient is including breathiness in default, which it shouldn't. And how to get better. Upper belly magic spot. Look up upper belly magic spot stuff with Lisa Popeil, and that's great for learning dynamics of controlling your breath. So really become cognizant of controlling your breath and factor in that you're going to need more breath to be breathy. Like people act like you need more breath to belt. And it's good to be able to build up a high pressure with a lot of breath, but it is a lot easier to hold your breath like for belting than it is to hold your breath for a quiet breathy note because you leak air so much quicker. So did you see that video of Jeannie Lovetri? I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. I've heard of her a bajillion times. I like some of her stuff. But I don't know how you actually pronounce her name. On the Naked Vocalist podcast saying that CVT only advocates for more twang in belting because Catherine Sandelin uses it when. Oh no! Oh no! I need to see this. That's like part two. That's like part two after dark answers to the question about twang. Can twang help you sing higher? Um, yes, and NB up. Yes, for those of you MBs, I need you to NB up as well. I need you to human up. I need all of y'all to human up and ask damn questions. Like question your gender, but don't fucking have questions about voice outside of these damn office hours. It's not allowed. Let's see if anybody on Facebook. Oh, hey Renee. Yeah, I made some contact with him. If you're still watching, yeah. Oh hey. Oh hey. I should have been checked that. Oopsie. Um, okay. Back to answering the Stack Exchange questions. Um, what is pulling the tongue out? And if you pull the tongue out of your mouth, I know we talked about conodal before, or like pushing with the back of your tongue against your epiglottis, and that being able to introduce tension into your laryngeal muscles. So, if you pull your tongue all the way out your mouth, it can discourage that. It can discourage not like having conodal, but it can't prevent it entirely because we can put the front of our tongue out of our mouth, but you can still hear the conodal as I have my tongue out my mouth. So it doesn't completely preclude doing things with your tongue that might cause tension. They don't have to cause tension though. How is growl performed? It depends on what you define as a growl. A lot of people would refer to either rumble, which is like, and that's the vibration of the air epiglottic. Oh no. Potentially the air epiglottic folds in the epiglottis, and the false folds is the potential of one of those while I'm activating conodal that I was just talking about a couple seconds ago. And false fold, just regular false fold distortion, which would be like this. So those are performed by approximating vibrating bodies that are above, engaging these vibrating bodies. So other things that can vibrate besides your vocal cords that are above the vocal folds. So using those within a certain limit, can result in what a lot of people would call growling. Something to keep in mind while you're learning those is that you want to aim to cause these by increasing your subglottal pressure, not so basically putting more air into a sound, not necessarily by just constricting your what your false folds or whatever things that you're using to growl with. You shouldn't just constrict those. You should also have more air pressure that motivates those things to vibrate. Oh, I missed Karen. I'm a bad person. I have nothing to live for now. Um, how do I differentiate velar closure from AES constriction? This is a good, but what's what I'm looking for? Slightly suspicious? Not suspicious. I don't know what the word is. It's a good question, but I just want to double check to make sure you don't mean like velar opening, because velar opening is what creates nasality. So, okay. So, backstory on this question for people who aren't familiar. Twang and nasality are notorious confusables in voice. So you hear a lot of people being like, this sound is really nasal. My voice is really nasal right now. It has nothing to do with your nose. If I do this, I can still be really quote unquote nasal. Because what it actually is twang or AS constriction as being put right here. And then what nasality sounds like is more like this. Twang is often used with a bit of nasality because nasality, I think, is just present. You need nasality to a certain degree to speak. Like to speak most, if not all, languages, you need a degree of nasality to be properly intelligible. The difference, like you can get nasality more by itself, but twang might be more likely to come with a little bit of nasality. So the way I tell them apart is like, nasality to me is very dark and rich. If you overdo it, you should hear this kind of like dark richness that can also sound kind of warm. A lot of people cite, not a lot of people, a lot of people, thanks to Nick, cite Squidward as an example of nasality and SpongeBob as an example of twang. And their voices are sort of counterparts to each other. SpongeBob has more of like this in your face attitude, and I think twang suits that because twang is really pingy and in your face. Because it, for those of you who are audiophiles, because it causes these spectral peaks, like in the singer's formant area. So in other words, it makes your voice like shrill and it really claws at your ear. As opposed to nasality, which dampens some of the higher formants. It makes them lower in pitch and maybe less amplitude. So it's a darker sound that can be used to sound kind of ennui, which is what describes Squidward. Like a lot of people confuse it even after hearing these differences, which, like, not to be mean, but I think that's a little bit like of a personal problem. I don't think these things are just in a vacuum objectively confusing. I think they're just like we are so hardwired to think of this sound as nasal that it's hard for us to hear the difference. But okay, now I'm going to be the opposite of nasal. I'm going to be hyponasal. So hyponasal means that like I'm complete velar closure. And this I don't think at all is ever confused with AS constriction, but this again to me sounds kind of like denatured and floaty, as opposed to like, so again it's dark contrast to twang, which sounds more like a little bit more normal and functional, just like really bright and in your face. So yeah, this is how like this is the hyponasality, and this is twang. So for those of you that confuse nasality for twang, to prove that twang and nasality are separate, you can hear me do both at the same time. I'm being hyponasal, taking up the twang. You could hear the hyponasality, and now I'm gonna put twang back in and still be a hyponasal, and I still sound like I have a head cold, but now I sound like an alien reject baby with a head cold. with all that twang and stuff. Let's see, voice text chat. People ask a question. Um, yeah, okay. So, getting to the voice text chat questions. Jeremy being able to belt to an E flat 5. It's actually really interesting. All of these people are really confirming this data about going to E flat 5 slash D sharp 5 as the climax of this regular zone of belting, beyond which there's a significant change that needs to take place in your belting in order for you to have those. There's so many different singers ranges that like come up against this bump exactly at either like D5 or D sharp 5. D sharp 5 is the farthest I've ever seen that pulled. What are singing glissandos and how will they help me get through my M2 block caused by M3? So glissandos can do. I just went over this with somebody, but I can't, or in an office hours or something. So make sure you keep up with this stuff. And if you want to hear the lessons where I go over the stuff with people, check out Patreon. Singing glissandos, sliding up and down through your range, and trying to do that continuously will assimilate the kind of vocal tract settings that you have when you first start the glissando to wherever you end up in the glissando. Hopefully, if I do it right. So if you're relaxed while starting with glissando, if you do this nice, even, quick glissando, you'll hit these higher notes before you have time to realize that these are higher, more difficult notes for you. So it makes you more likely to not second guess yourself and make clown moves. Oh, I'm so mad that I miss Karen. Okay. I'm dead inside because I didn't get to her before she left. Um, so, Kajitan, I'm sorry, I'm probably messing up your name, asks, how do vocal cord length and thickness thickness affect one's voice? I heard there's only like a 2 millimeter difference between thank you for the conversion. For science stuff, I usually use metric. Between a tenor and a soprano. Yeah. A 2 millimeter difference is significant in the world of the vocal folds because the vocal folds are only a few millimeters different, or only a few millimeters in the first place. So it does make somewhat of a difference. I'd say the only thing, like, it predisposes you to stuff, but there's nothing that can't be at least partially compensated for with behavioral tricks. So I would say before getting into any biessentialism, like, know that your vocal goals are probably possible. Like, you can hit high notes with large vocal cords, you can hit low notes with smaller vocal cords, because it's more about the coordination rather than just like the sheer meat. But if you have more vocal cord meat, just like a thicker guitar string, you will be predisposed to having more harmonics to your voice. Your voice might sound a bit richer, or heavier, whatever you want to talk about it. But that doesn't mean that you can't emulate that with behavioral stuff. Um, so are vestibular false folds healthy to use? Yes, they're perfectly fine. There's risk factors with using them, and this is why when I answered the question on Stack Exchange, I was like, you want to propel the usage of the false folds with breath. That if you don't do that, people tend to compensatorily constrict the true folds, and that's where you run into trouble. So you don't want to constrict the true folds while using the vestibular folds, and this constriction of the vestibular folds is going to make you want to constrict your true folds. So yes, I can use these folds all day, but not get injured. But at the same time, you don't want to it's triggering my dysphonia. Not dysphonia is the new dysphoria 2018. Um, Wait, oh no, is the mic messing up? Was that just you throw having Brazilian internet problems? Because I don't, I can't, I won't. You were like the false alarm queen. Um, oh, Copfin asking these good ass questions. Okay, so yes, they're healthy to use. Well, in the ideal world, if you're over the unhealthy part of like the risk factors of using the false folds, you can sort of use the false folds if you know how to use them properly as SOVT, which is like a therapeutic vocal exercise. Like in theory. How do you make nasal consonants intelligible with hyponasality? Hyponasality is a texture like textures like wax and wane. So to be hyponasal, to give the impression of hyponasality, you don't have to be 100% hyponasal all the time. So if I sing a song like this, I sound hyponasal overall, but you can still hear my nasal consonants. So that allows me to access nasal consonants, so I slightly increase the nasality for nasal consonants. And I don't think anybody necessarily fully enjoys the sound of exaggerated 100% hyponasality, because that just sounds hypofunctional. That just sounds like your voice has issues, or like you really actually do have a head cold. But yeah, you can still make them intelligible because it's all about relative levels. If you like are not as nasal on the nasal consonants, I think that'll still like help contribute to this feeling of hyponasality. Um, okay, paper crunchy nose when I hit my resonance raya. Resonance raya Kayetan. Oh, oh, cool. Okay. How do you stop or control nasality and what's closure? Closure. I think that's closure. Okay. So, there's two things. You need two things to make nasality. You need access to the nasal cavities, and you need to not ignore sing wise in your streams, so she leaves you. I'll get to that question in a second. So you need first of all to have access to the nasal cavity, like I said, and then you also need to direct air to there. So using whatever back of the tongue stuff that I haven't fully explored yet, you can make it so less airflow will come out of your mouth and more airflow is going to come out your nose. So on its way out your nose, which by the way, this part of your nose does not really affect the texture of your voice. So if you're getting a like nose reduction because your nose wants to be a skinny legend, your voice will pretty much sound the same. So nasality involves those two things. So if I either don't direct as much nasal air, like if I direct more airflow out my mouth, I can not be as nasal, and I can also close my soft palate. Partly think of it as like the gate to nasality. I will ask. Oh, ask her? I don't need to ask nothing because I'm the baddest bitch, and I'm just gonna wait until all these resources are over, and then I'm gonna DM with my desperate question because I'm the baddest bitch. Can't nobody teach me nothing. So hetero was a mistake. I agree. Didn't we all learn today? Um, Would I say Sam Smith is a hyponasal singer? I need to hear, but probably like he's probably like slightly hyponasal. But I hear that is almost more like an idiopathic hyponasality rather than some kind of cool flourish with his voice. Because I think he uses M2 a lot. I think people tend to have as they go up in M2 have a proclivity towards closing off the soft palate. It's just a reflex. Classical people like to act like they invented that and they invented the throat and they invented eardrums or whatever. But people just naturally, trained and untrained singers, will tend to get hyponasal as they ascend in M2 range, and or just even go into M2 in general. So I think that's just something Sam Smith does. Um, he does other things as well. But yeah, I would say he has some hyponasality, but I would bet that it's more out of an idiopathic thing than like a stylistic thing. So do you have do you have a drill to find false fold distortion or distortion at all? Yes, if you join premium. Basically involves trying to find it with breath. Yeah. Oh. Oh, dang, look at you throw. Look at you throw. Making sense. Well, baby's going up. Um, wow, Kayaton, you're gonna fit right in. Wait. Is anal support actually a thing? That's just not just a meme that was made about Felicia Ricci. Felicia Ricci had the reach to actually preach about this anal bleach. I'm hurt. I'm dying. How could I be left this way? And other such expletives, because I this whole time I did not think Felicia Ricci with her rated T for toddler voice videos would talk about the anus. Like, she might call like booty support or something, but some of them, if that is real, and please like link me at some point. Okay. Since the vocal folds are made of muscle, does vocal fold mass increase with hypertrophy and decrease with atrophy? Yes, with atrophy. I am not sure with hypertrophy, because with atrophy you get vocal cord bowing. Is one of the pathologies for that, vocal cord bowing. Vocal fold bowing. I'm trying to muscle wasting. See, look at me. I know like medical things of the thyroarytenoid muscle, which is one of the muscles, obviously, that can work on your open quotient, closed quotient. Yes, but I don't know about hypertrophy in size. I would hazard a guess, maybe, but I don't know for sure. So vocal cord bowing is basically you get these indents in your vocal cords because you were lazy fuck. No, it often happens with geriatric. Oh, look at me. Yes, they said in the age population. I know things. I like sort of having a knowledge of stuff that I didn't necessarily get from medical texts that I just got from implications, and then seeing that like somebody verifies, like some medical resource verifies. But anyways, yeah. Um, Increased breathiness you often get with vocal cord atrophy because the vocal cords get too small to form a proper closure, or if they bow at a certain point, you're going to have this constant glottal leakage. I think support, if an actual answer to the anal reaching of Ricci is, I don't think support is that super duper important. Is it possible? Like, my thing is, like, you need to have something to support in order to support it. Like, if you don't have the range, support isn't going to give you the range. Like, you need to support something that exists. Like, if you can't do something, support isn't going to make you able to do it. It makes you better able to do something maybe, but it doesn't give you the ability to do a new thing that you couldn't do before. So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the range because I just don't have anal support. It's like, no, you don't have a range because you a foolish hoe. And you think that your anus will actually teach you whistle register. I mean, I guess you could like whistle poop register, but if you nasty, if you into that. Okay, thank you for answering the soft palate question, y'all. How do you close it? Figure out how to not breathe through your nose. Like, I can't breathe through my nose right now. There's other drills that I give, but I talk more about that in depth during premium office hours. So keep a lookout for that. Check the link in the description for premium office hours, and also for modules on this kind of stuff. Check out the Discord server, and also please like, share, and subscribe, and comment on this video after it comes out. It really helps. Please. Um, Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, close the soft palate. I don't mean the soft palate closes in on itself. I mean, like, it's like closing a door. I don't necessarily think of like the doorway as part of the door inherently, but when you close a door, you're closing off a doorway. So that's what I meant when I said I closed the soft palate. It's like shut the soft palate. It's like shut the door. 11M0 Queen. Uh, Yeah, nasality. Oh my god. Lizard tongue. We're off to see the lizard. The wonderful lizard of flaws. And she refers. I don't know. You do not need your anus for Valsalva. That's all I know. How to sing above D4. It depends on what mechanism we're talking about. If you're talking about like singing above D4 in your chest voice or M1, that is one thing. And then if you're talking about singing above it in M2, that's another thing. Which that's rough. If your M2 doesn't go above D4 yet. In general, like sliding up to it can help. Like I don't have a reference point for D4, but like I'm sliding up to D4, like and try to like slide up. And it also depends on the problems that you're having with that note, because it might be that you can hit it, it's just unstable. That's one drill. It might be that you can't hit it. That's another drill. It might be that you can't make it usable. Another drill. Like loud enough or whatever it is enough. Yeah, but you don't need to contract your anus to contract those things. You can just contract those things directly. No, no, I do not have no absolute pitch. That was no. If I actually hit a D4, like I'll try to claim it. But no, I do not. I barely have relative pitch. Oh, hello, people on my personal Facebook watching. Feel free to say hi and ask questions about voice. Okay, let's check Discord for not questions. Okay. Whoa, that was D4. No! No! Okay, what I do have that's not absolute pitch is I have muscle memory. So sometimes I can tell like what note I'm hitting. Wow. Wow. I just have like a landmark of how certain pitches feel. So I hit something that's like this is in the ballpark of a D4 because I know how D4 feels. But I like other notes feel similar to me. Whoops. I don't know what a whoops is. What's the difference between gospel squalls? Whoops. Like whoop. Like is that a whoop? You be knowing more than I do. Like that sounds like what a whoop might be in growls. Those are commoner terms. So commoner terms, lay terms tend to have a lot of variation in terms of what they mean and refer to. So I can't say what each one of these means when each person says it, but what these terms tend to orbit around is a gospel squall. Now you can ask as many questions as you want, Daniel. A gospel squall tends to be what I call a preacher fake. It's a subset of what I call fake belting, where you use M1, but you lean on the false folds to somehow stabilize the note. So instead of belting clean, I might go like a clean belt without a gospel squall might be like, ah! But then if I do a well, let me get this further from me. If I do a squall on that, like, ah! So the threshold for what I need for that for that belt is going to be less in terms of it's less taxing on the vocal folds because they can sort of release and let the false folds do more of the work of that note. So it tends to be a gospel squall, what I call a preacher fake, like in the name of Jesus, you better ask me questions. Like that is what I would call the preacher fake because like a lot of preachers go into that. Oh shit! I actually was aiming for F5 in my mind. No way. No way. Maybe like one of my split personalities has absolute pitch. Because I totally would have been surprised if that wasn't F5. But I actually was aiming for F5 in my mind because that's around where it starts to become super helpful to cheat with the preacher fake. So I intentionally did that. Because for me F5 is way easier with the false folds. And the growl I think is not necessarily as high. Like it's some type of extra distortion. At anime freak, I just said at in real life. What is capitalism? Um, so I um you're saying I don't even know how to ask things because I don't know terminology. Ask what the terminology is. Ask what it means. Ask how you describe a certain sensation. Do your best to give like a clear picture. Like don't just say, "How do I sing beautiful?" Be like, "How do I make my voice lighter? How do I da 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 da?" As long as you're specific, you don't necessarily need the exact words for everything. Okay. What is closure? Closure is just closing anything. Like if you bring it together. If you bring them together and you close something off, that's closure. That's pretty much all that is. So that's what closure is in life. So you can have closure of the vocal folds, you can have closure of the soft palate, you can have closure at phonatory articulation points. You don't need to really know that as much. Um, how does Prince do his false foldy like screaming? I'd say a lot of Prince's false foldy screaming is probably an M2. Story time. I used to go to these like redneck bars. They were really awesome because I lived in Baltimore. I still live in Baltimore, and I worked in the DC area. And a lot of people are like, Maryland isn't really the South. It's like it is if you go outside these damn cities. Like what is what's a like a sign of that? Um, like there's a place in Maryland that's like north of Baltimore, just in the sticks, called like Havre de Grace, and that's how you'd actually pronounce it with friends, like Havre de Grace. But and you best believe everybody calls it Havre de Grace. Like I only saw it on like signs. And now I never heard anybody say it, and I was like, what's a Havre de Grace? Who's a Haverty and where is his grace? Um, so yeah, uh, I went to these redneck bars in my uh, commute between. Not everybody there's like necessarily what I would call like rednecky, but like literally I went to these people's barbecues and it was literally a trailer park. It's some of the most interesting 2 years of my life. But yeah, I did Prince and that was like my signature song, Kiss. I decided to do that because like he had just died at the time, um, and I did like going overdrive on that was one of the like the don't have to be rich to be my girl. Like that was the thing. It's like as an extra challenge for like hard mode. I like to try to do it in M1 sometimes, but it doesn't make as much of a difference when you have all that distortion going. But yeah, M2 is actually a better place to find that distortion than M1. It's better to find it in there for belting first. Again, it's like it's leaning into that breathiness. Um, my favorite clean vocal singer is Aaron. Are the Whites all right? I don't know how to pronounce that. Aaron Stringer, but I'm not sure how he sings. It seems almost like shouting, but not. I can't tell if it's just his voice that makes it nice or his technique. I'm not familiar with this singer, so I can't give you input specifically on what he does, and I can't play stuff on this stream without getting copyright strike. And I'm not going to lose my clout because of you. But I can guess at what you're saying and see if I can like say something that would get to that. But a lot of people that are not used to good singing, no, I'm kidding. A lot of people that aren't used to more athletic singing that come from the world of these like folk singers with like negative one octave ranges or people that only scream and never sing clean voice, like if that's the main thing that they listen to, they tend to have a really weird different concept of how different things sound in voice. Like belting and shouting are definitely done, which that's what Aaron is probably doing, belting. But belting and shouting sound similar and are driven by the same kind of glottal coordination. Your vocal cords are doing basically the same thing, but there's enough stylistic change with what is considered belting that like most people that are fans of R&B and just gospel and other genres that require you to belt, um that familiarity with the genre, I think, makes it so a lot of people wouldn't hear something like this as shouting. But yeah, what you're looking for is probably belting. Um, so yeah, I would presume he's probably belting. If not, it might be like the which is the false fold stuff that I've just been over. So I would rewind and listen to that stuff. Um, I hear the difference between head voice and falsetto is that head voice will vibrate the entire length of vocal folds, not necessarily the entire length, and it's way easier to pop into the same M1 note. Not necessarily. These are like trends, but these are not absolutes that you're asking in your questions. Head voice tends to use more of the vocal folds to vibrate than falsetto on average, but it's still M2, so it's not as much as M1. How do you trick yourself into singing? Like, I don't know why you gotta trick yourself. Like, consent is sexy. Thank you. You don't necessarily have to trick yourself. You can just do stuff to increase your glottal closure, like glottal strikes, like Okay, I'll look at that setting in a second. So that's one way, and there's some other stuff to do. Can I clip this between falsetto and head voice? So, falsetto is a part of falsetto and head voice, both M2, both the same mechanism. They are qualitatively different, but I just don't like that what different registers implies that it's like they're basically like two sides of the same exact damn coin. It's not like you have one and or one gender has one but not the other. Like don't just please don't. Um, so um, falsetto tends to be more thin, like this. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's breathy. Falsetto is breathy. And like, yes, it's breathy, and you do hear more breath, but it's like saying like, I'd like a glass of water. Water, that's the thing that drowns you, right? It's like, no, no, like, yes, water drowns you, but it's like, that's not the definitive way in which we encounter water or like a good defining trait of water. Water can drown you, but it's very specific things of water. So, yes, falsetto tends to be breathy, but that is not the constitutive description of what falsetto is. It is a thinner usage of the vocal folds. They contact less, you use less of the mass of the vocal folds, etc., etc. You don't. Look at all y'all asking questions. I appreciate this. This is amazing. I would also appreciate a like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. Helps me promote my vocal truths. So let's see if there's any questions on any of the other platforms. Oh my God, Fox. Oh my God, Fox. Okay. So let me click over and what was the question I was answering again? I think it was about falsetto and M2 difference. Falsetto and half voice difference. So falsetto is thin. The sound is thin. The harmonics are thin. Thin is more of a descriptor of falsetto than breathiness. It's so thin that it will happen to be breathy, but you can also be breathy in every other form of M2, so it's not a helpful description. So, like, I can be breathy in head. I'd call that more of a head. Then I can be breathy in mix. I'd call that more of a mix too. Speaking of mix two, and then I'll look at the literature that Kayetan is talking about. How do you do mix one and mix two? Like, the main thing. How you do them is like that. That's not something I can't give walkthroughs and here's all the drills and here's how you do this thing inside of office hours. Like I wouldn't have enough time for everyone's question. But basically, you want to look at the open and closed quotient values inside of M1 and M2. You want to start making the match up more, and that'll be a large part of how you get mix one and mix two to sound more like each other, and that's the purpose of mix one and mix two, to sound like this like seamless one voice, the human voice. Can I check a vocal study I found? Vocal registers of the countertenor voice. Ugh, I can tell I'm not gonna like it. I'm scared. Somebody hold me. Vocal nodules is what I'm gonna get from reading this. Vocal registers of the countertenor voice. Vocal registers of, yes, M0 Queen, the counter tenor voice. So I don't like scientific papers on voice at this point. My butt is asleep. Let me jump to the 14th page. It better be cultivated voices. Like, what did you get? Like a bumper crop of voices? I am annoyed. Is it like page 14 of the document, or what is labeled page 14, like inside the actual document? So page 14, okay, I'm gonna need you to clear that up. Kayetan, is this the page you want, or do you want the page that says 14? Because this is page 14. It's not text here. Or do you mean page 14, like where this little number is at the bottom? And I'm gonna wait. If I don't get anything on that. Okay, good. The alto range. Wait, I don't see alto. I just see contralto. What? What is with like the actual note values? Like, what determines whether you use a quarter note or a whole note in describing these ranges? I need a sign from guide. I don't understand. I don't see alto, just contralto. Let me check back. All these notations are confusing because all of them do that. Okay, so contralto. Let's see. I can read. No, I can't. So if we're assuming this is middle C and that's C4, then this would be, that's G4, so then down G3, so then below that would be E3. So E3 up to, and then I don't know what this means. That seems like it makes sense, like a contralto, like an AFAB. AFABs, even with like lower voices, they are very capable of going below F3, E3, but they often struggle with that. Like people, there's a lot of AFABs that have lower voices that will start frying prematurely around, not frying, let me not promote that injustice, but they'll start strobosing or creaking. Like they'll be like as opposed to like a lot of AMAs, they'll be like and those keep going down before they get low enough to get into low enough to get into M0. Wait, that's in the 5th octave? That's in the 5th octave? Now, I don't even know. I guess that's like the lower reaches of M2, but that, I don't like and in actuality, unless the piece goes extraordinarily low, sopranos never use what I would think of as chest. I don't get this. This is confusing. I can't make heads or tails of it. But then again, I can't make heads or tails from most classical shit. Um, is there any other questions? What else was I going to try to plug? Oh, well, if there's no other questions, I'm just going to talk about a plug real quick and I'm going to sign off. Y'all had your chance. Don't squander it. I am doing a trip up north soon to meet with a lot of different fans of mine. No, a lot of different people that I have collaborated with vocally to do more collaboration in person. I'm going to be teaching a seminar, hopefully. I'm going to be doing a podcast, and I'm going to be doing like mini sort of like master lessons with former students. So I'm going to try to record a bunch of those. Yeah, pluggity, plug. Like you see me answering these questions on Stack Exchange. Um, so I'm going to record a bunch of those, and my mods are going to help me edit this together. No. Um, so yeah, I'll be on the server periodically, letting y'all know what kinds of stuff we will be working on at any given point, and y'all can sort of make requests for things that you might want me to mention during this, and then I can copy and paste it into some horrible abomination of me getting my life in the Northeast. Would I have to find someone specific to ask what the genres I like, since I know they aren't the most common? Punk, pop, punk, metal. I have a lot of students that are into that. I'm not personally as into it, but technically I know about these genres. Like there is some punk stuff I like. There's some metal stuff I like. Like I like Coheed Cambria, Dance Gavin Dance. So you're not like some lonely, misunderstood maverick. Like there's other people with your interests, but until you develop the terminology, if I don't know the singer that you're referencing, no matter what genre it is, I won't be able to help as well. Which I understand you don't know the terminology, but it's like your chance to learn about it. So you can reference a singer, but if I don't know the singer, I can't help you with it, even if it's in that genre. Um, yeah, I am not a classical teacher, so I'm even more likely to help with stuff for metal. Oh, y'all with this last minuteness, I can't. Y'all like you come into this thing and like the last minute, like my time is free. Okay, are classical tenors? I see. I don't know either of the. Well, I know. Those actually sound familiar, but I don't know offhand because I'm not like super familiar with classical. There are a lot of tenors that use M1, but I would not say that every tenor. I think the most celebrated tenors use M1 because like belting is like fucking dope. But M1 is not the only thing that tenors. Like people act like it's like the only thing that tenors are supposed to use in that range. But it's like if something says pianissimo, you're not gonna get pianissimo out of M1 on a C5. Like no, you can't. So yeah, it depends on the context, but potentially, um, probably. You're having troubles with not squeezing above B3 in M1. You probably need to lay off that chronic smoke dog. Smoke dog. Half smoke, not half smoke. So, yeah, sliding up with from a lower M1 note to where you want to take it. It can be a good strategy. There's other things that I could talk about, but it's hard for me to like troubleshoot and diagnose your voice personally, unless you come to premium office hours, which will start happening sooner rather than later. Okay. Yeah, some of it might be psychological, but At the end of the day, it is a thing that a lot of people encounter, so I doubt it's like entirely in your head. Uh, uh, I the singing the fifth octave and they are not countertenors, hence they don't sing in falsetto. That's a thing for some people, but I don't think that's an obligate thing. Like, if you're a voice type, you will definitely do this or not do this. Like, I don't think countertenors necessarily use falsetto all the time. They use M2, but a lot of countertenors, the really good ones, like countertenors sopranos, are probably going to use like head voice. Um, oh, you're already doing the sirens. The sirens upwards. Yeah, that I need to hear that. So if you're on the server, holla at me. You probably are, but I don't know what your name is on the server. Okay. My friend is away, but he wanted to ask how to get more body in his M2 voice. He mentioned that his voice sounded hollow, but I don't know what he means exactly by that. Probably glottal strikes, like get that vocal cord mass up. Get that that closed quotient of the vocal cords up in M2, and that should get like a core meteor sound. There's other stuff after that, but check out Premium. I wouldn't call Edson's singing falsetto. I'd call it M2, but I do not like to use falsetto and M2 interchangeably, because there's just so much gender essentialism built into falsetto, and then people who do use the term falsetto stylistically, I don't think it describes what a lot of these like really excellent high voices do. So I would describe him as using probably head. Uh, so singers can increase chord closure, close quotient, and nasality, sometimes using twang. That's like a final option. That's not one of the initial options. Um, yeah, those are things they do. Ah, okay, I think that is it. Anybody trying to come at me with a last minute question? Better not. You better not. Better not. Better not. No. Better not. Better not. No. Better not. Better not. No, no, no. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about. Yeah, okay. If you're talking about the G sharp 6, I would call that just default like superhead. It's probably M2. I don't think falsetto is as helpful to talk about in the quote unquote superhead region. Um, Girl, bye. Um, so yeah, hitting something in superhead like the M2 is going to thin out significantly past like that C6 E6 range, and once you get to those like F6 and G sharp 6, it's like it's thinner, and I don't think it thins in the same way falsetto thins. So yeah, I wouldn't call it falsetto. I wouldn't call it normal head, but I'd say bye. Okay. Uh, Last housekeeping stuff. Vote for things. Please vote for things. The M2 range block thing is coming up. I see half y'all hoes asking about like trying to get better at M2. So don't not vote on a time for that thing. Don't not look at the syllabus and see if there's any more topics you want added. Don't like do that. Don't be a do nothing ass and then try to like come at me like you don't have the thing I wanted. It's not on the day that I wanted it to be. Um. So yeah, don't do that. If those of you that are not on the Discord server, join the Discord server for access to this module. Messes the mods for access to the modules. It's free, but we got to get you hooked up first. Thank you. Um, okay, can I read you my explanation? I cannot remember if my explanation of it was particularly good. Why you can't increase your resonance. That's like I'm increasing my existence. Like you exist. 0 or 1. It's binary. Unlike gender. Uh like I'm increasing my like Americanness. Like it's like 0 or 1. You are like from America or you're not. You were born in America or you're not. Like 0 or 1. No other options. You can't phone a friend. You can't like call a life crisis hotline. There is just like some things like you have this or you don't. And resonance is a thing that you pretty much always have with your voice. So you can't like increase the resonance. You can increase how much something resonates in a certain given chamber, but you can't say like I'm going to increase my voice. How? Increase what about your voice? I'm going to increase blue. I'm going to increase death. I guess you can kill more people. But it's like if someone's already dead, it's like I'm gonna increase his death. Like not like you can't. That's not how it works. So resonance just as the noun in of itself just describes the notion of sound changing as it goes through the vocal tract and it echoes around in different parts of your vocal tract. That is all resonance is. You can't like increase that as an overall thing. I guess the only way to change resonance is to like literally just dig your throat out your neck and put electrodes in it. Like it's not gonna have as much resonance then like as much like vocal tract resonance then. But even then it's still gonna resonate in the air. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, so no, like don't come at me with the how do I get more resonance? I'm gonna come at you with like how do I get more black? I need to get less black. I need to get more white if I'm trying to get these jobs. Okay, that is it for this week of Office Hours. Like, share, and subscribe, you fucking ingrates. See you next Friday, probably. Some shit might change, who knows? But see you next Friday, and keep a lookout. I'll be announcing stuff that is happening, and I'll let you listen in on Discord and probably one of the premium parts of Discord. So if you want to catch like these seminars that I'm giving that I'm being potentially paid for, so people are paying, you should pay too. Make sure you ask Maud how to get some of the basic like free premium content, the sampler platter, free premium content, and how you get the general monetized content via Patreon. I am double dying, so I'm going. Boy. Okay.